Hello, future engineers. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're still new to my channel and you like what I'm doing, please don't forget to share my videos to your friends and to your friends' friends, to your younger brothers and sisters who would want to take up engineering in the future, and to your relatives. That's one way you can keep me going, inspired, and refreshed. Now, if you find my videos interesting and important to your studies, also please don't forget to subscribe. Hello viewers, subscribers, students, and future engineers. There is another video, sample problem video on evaluating the derivative of functions using limits. If you want to anticipate the solution, you may pause the video. You just look at the exercises. Do not look at the solution and compare your answers later. So 22, x is 3t squared minus 2 square root of t. So x plus delta x, replace t by t plus delta t, equals 3 quantity t plus delta t square minus 2 square root of t plus delta t. Expand, delta x is 3t square, the middle term is 2t delta t times 3, so 6t delta t. The last term is delta t square times 3, so plus 3 delta t quantity square. Then minus 2 square root of t plus delta t minus x, which is minus quantity 3t square minus 2 square root of t, so minus 3t square plus 2 square root of t. So we can cancel 3t square, then we'll have delta x equals 60 delta t plus 3 delta t square, then common to negative 2 square root of t plus delta t and positive 2 square root of t is negative 2. So that's why you have square root of t plus delta t minus square root of t. And since this is a binomial radical, we have to multiply and divide by its conjugate. So that's the conjugate. Then delta x equals 60 delta t plus 3 delta t quantity square. Then minus 2 times the expansion, remove the radical only, t plus delta t minus t all over the same denominator. Simplifying, delta x is 60 delta t plus 3 delta t square, because we can cancel or eliminate t and negative t, so minus 2 delta t over square root of t plus delta t plus square root of t. Divide everything by delta t. Delta x over delta t equals 6t plus 3 delta t minus 2 over square root of t plus delta t plus square root of t. dx dt is the limit of delta x over delta t as delta t approaches 0. So it reduces to 6t. This becomes 0. Delta t approaches 0 minus 2 over square root of t plus delta t plus square root of t, and delta t approaches 0. Simplifying further, so we have dx dt 6t minus 2 over square root of t plus square root of t. Square root of t plus square root of t is 2 square root of t. We can cancel 2. So final answer, dx dt is 6t minus 1 over square root of t. So that's it for that problem. Number 23, y is 1 over square root of x. So y plus delta y is 1 over square root of x plus delta x. Delta y is 1 over square root of x plus delta x minus y, which is 1 over square root of x. So delta y by algebra, cross multiply, LCD is square root of x plus delta x times square root of x. So we have square root of x minus 1 times square root of quantity x plus delta x all over this LCD. Then we multiply and divide by the conjugate of this numerator, which is quantity square root of x plus square root of x plus delta x over quantity square root of x plus square root of x plus delta x, the same. So take note that this horizontal bar is a vinculum and it is a grouping symbol. So that's a group. There's no need to put parentheses here. So expand, so that's why you have x minus delta x all over LCD square root of quantity x plus delta x square root of x times quantity square root of x plus square root of x plus delta x. So it reduces to negative delta x over, we just copy the denominator, divide everything by delta x, so delta y over delta x equals negative 1 over same denominator. Then dy dx, limit of delta y over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So we have negative 1, so set delta x 0, delta x 0. Negative 1 over square root of x times square root of x, then times quantity square root of x plus square root of x, which is 2 square root of x. Since square root of x over times square root of x is x, and x times square root of x is x to the 3 halves, so the final answer is negative 1 over 2. Again, x times square root of x is x to the 3 halves. So that's the answer. 24, y is t to the 3 halves. So u is t to the 3 halves rather. So u plus delta u equals quantity t plus delta t to the 3 halves. Take note that t plus delta t to the 3 halves is like uh, t plus delta t to the 1/2 quantity cube, or square root of t plus delta t, square root of quantity t plus delta t cube. So delta u equals square root of t plus delta t cube minus u, which is t to the 3 halves. And that's the same as minus square root of t cube. So delta u equals quantity square root of quantity delta t plus delta t cube minus square root of t cube. Then we multiply and divide by the conjugate of that. So this is the conjugate, just the sign that is changed. Then expand, so we have removed the radical t plus delta t cube minus t cube all over that denominator. So expanding, t plus delta t quantity cube is t cube plus 3t squared delta t plus 3t delta t quantity square plus delta t cube. Then minus t cube all over, copy the denominator. So we can eliminate t cube, negative t cube. So we have 3t, divide everything by delta t, so delta u over delta t equals 3t squared left here plus 3t delta t plus delta t quantity square over this denominator. So du dt is limit of delta u over delta t as delta t approaches 0. So it is, so this approaches 0, 0 over square root of quantity t plus delta t cube, delta t 0 plus square root of t cube. So what remains in the numerator is 3t squared. In the denominator, these are like terms. Square root of t cube plus square root of t cube is 2 square root of t cube. And square root of t cube is t to the 3 halves. So we have 3t squared over 2t to the 3 halves. T squared over t to the 3 halves is t to the 1/2. So the final answer, du dt, is 3 halves times t to the 1/2. Number 25, y is 1 over square root of x minus 2. So y plus delta y is 1 over square root of x plus delta x minus 2. Delta y is 1 over square root of x plus delta x minus 2 minus y, which is 1 over square root of x minus 2. Algebra, square root of x minus 2 times 1 is square root of x minus 2. Then square root of x plus delta x minus 2 times negative 1 is minus square root of quantity x plus delta x minus 2 all over LCD, which is the product of these denominators. So delta y is copy the numerator, copy the denominator, then we multiply and divide by the conjugate of the numerator, which is this. Then expand, so we have x minus 2 minus x minus delta x plus 2 over, just copy the LCD. Cancel x, negative 2, 2. What remains in the numerator is negative delta x. Divide everything by delta x, so delta y over delta x is negative 1 left here over the denominator. So dy dx is equal to the limit of delta y over delta x as delta x approaches 0, and this is delta y over delta x. Set delta x 0. Then we have negative 1 over square root of x minus 2 square root of x minus 2 times quantity square root of x minus 2 plus square root of x minus 2. So square root of x minus 2 times square root of x minus 2 is x minus 2, while square root of x minus 2 plus square root of x minus 2 is 2 square root of x minus 2. Finally, these are like terms. X minus 2 to the 1 and square root of x minus 2 is like x minus 2 to the 1 half. 1 plus 1 half is 3 halves. Therefore, dy dx is negative 1 over 2. Then x minus 2 to the 3 halves. So that's the answer. 26, y is x square root of x minus 1. So delta y plus delta y is x plus delta x times square root of quantity x plus delta x minus 1. So delta y equals, we simply copy this, then minus y, which is x square root of x minus 1. So delta y is distribute x square root of, factor out x rather, x times quantity we have first term here x square root of x square root of quantity x plus delta x minus 1, then minus x square root of x minus 1. So common x, we factor that out. So x times quantity square root of x plus delta x minus 1, then minus this, so minus square root of x minus 1, and the other term is delta x times square root of x plus delta x minus 1. So that's it. Then we copy this and multiply and divide by the conjugate of this numerator, and we simply copy the second term. So delta y is equal to, the expansion of this is just remove the radical, then minus quantity, remove the radical. So x, quantity x plus delta x minus 1, then minus quantity x minus 1, so minus x plus 1. That's why. Over this denominator, then we copy this. Then we can eliminate x and negative 1 and positive 1. What remains here is x times delta x over this denominator plus copy the second term. So delta y over delta x equals x left over this denominator plus square root of quantity x plus delta x minus 1. dy dx is the limit of delta y over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So the limit of this as delta x approaches 0. So we copy this, then set delta x 0, delta x 0. So we have x over square root of x minus 1 plus square root of x minus 1, which is x over 2 square root of x minus 1, and plus square root of x minus 1. So x over square root of x minus 1 plus square root of x minus 1 plus square root of x minus 1. So by simplifying this, x over 2 square root of x minus 1 plus square root of x minus 1. Then the rest is algebra. LCD is this. So x plus 2 times square root of x minus 1 times square root of x minus 1 is 2 times quantity x minus 1 over LCD 2 square root of x minus 1. So x plus 2x is 3x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So we have 3x minus 2 over 2 square root of x minus 1. That's the final answer. So dy dx is 3x minus 2 over 2 square root of quantity x minus 1. So that's it for this video.